Okay, so we've had a few technical difficulties, but we're ready to roll here. So we're going to start off with some grounding, and I'm going to lead. And from your facial expressions the last time, sounded like you wanted to keep your camera on, but let me check in with you
Yes.
on that. Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. So just allow yourself to take a deep breath in. You're welcome to keep your eyes open, your eyes closed, however you feel. Just take that deep breath. And just feel the energy of this night that we are in, the energy that's around us, the energy that's in the space with both of us. And connect to the fact that this space for you is solely for you tonight, a journey of exploration, discovery, whatever it is that you want to bring into the space, that it's allowed, it's trusted, and that we will move in any direction that we see in the moment. Allow another breath in. And for both of us, just to be connected to spirit, to light, to this place of transformation that can occur in these sessions, that all of it is welcome here. All of it can be present here for you. That it just guides us. It guides us in this conversation that we're going to have tonight. And take in one more breath, one deep, long, invigorating breath. And when you feel ready to just share, what it is that you would like to explore in our conversation today.
So what I want to explore is where we left off last time is about, about I think somehow it's tied to commitment. Like it is, we talked about how there are certain things that I do where there's the energy of I'm going to make it happen. Like this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm going to make happen. And other times, in other places, the energy is more like I'll do what I can, and then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so the conversation I want to have is how can I move more in the direction of I'll make it happen no matter what. So have uh, more commitment behind it, I guess. I don't know if it's commitment is the thing, but yeah, that's the word that's coming right now.
Okay, so you're sensing that commitment might be a part of this, might not be.
May or may not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But the piece that's there for you, that's clear, is that you want to bring this energy, this being, that if there's something that you want to pursue, that you're going to go after it.
Right.
Yeah. And what for? Why at this point of your life are you seeing that as a path forward?
So what I'm recognizing is that the lack of that energy leaves me powerless. Like there's a lack of power there. And what I would like to do is to step more into my power and own the power that I have.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to step more into the power that you have. So where in your life do you find that more of this energy is needed? This energy of making things happen.
Mm. So, I mean, the context that we were having the conversation was in the workshops that I do. So that is one of the areas, but also like even in personal life, like in my relationship with my wife, for example, like we have talked about, you and I have talked about this. My wife and I have talked about like how it's good for us to just get out once in a while, do things outside of our comfort zone, those kind of things. And that happens to for me in sports. Like what I've noticed is that I am great at starting things and saying that, okay, yes, this is what we're going to do, but then at some point it falls off, or it doesn't get to the like it doesn't get to the outcome that I had envisioned when I started off. So the starts are great, but then the energy starts to taper off. I think that's the other part of it. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, like even between like just this week, I've had ideas of multiple events that I can do, and I started to work on some of them. And what my concern is that like somehow the energy might taper off, and then I might not get to where I want to get to. Um,
Hmm.
so there is strength in like the part that I am owning right now is the vision of it, and then getting things kicked off. And the part which I would like to own is actually bringing them to completion and following through in terms of making things happen that way.
Hmm. Yeah, great awareness. So what it sounds like is the thing that you want is to be able to you know set a target, pursue that target, and actually bring it to completion.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Anything you'd add to that?
Um, no, it's just like I was thinking about this today, is that the example that we looked at last time, right? Like enrollment for volleyball, for example. It actually, now I'm having a problem where there are actually more players than we need. Okay. So what I'm wondering is like, is that somehow connected to the energy that I started out with, that, oh, this is going to happen no matter what, kind of thing. And so if that's like, and I like that's what I think is the case, is that the energy that I brought is what is bringing results beyond what I expected in the first place. And so
Hmm.
that's what I'm excited about. Like if I can bring that same energy somehow to other aspects, then the results would be even better than I like. Yeah, like would be even greater. The results would be even more powerful. I think that's what I'm playing for.
Hmm. So we're kind of at a bit of a crossroads here, and maybe not. Maybe you see something that I don't. But like, so where we started was hey, I want to be able to bring an energy of, make it happen no matter what. And what you've just spoken to here is that, well, I actually just want to bring this energy everywhere. This energy that I brought to
Correct.
enrollments in volleyball, I want this to be the energy that I bring everywhere in life.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, to me, both of them seem
Yeah.
connected, but okay.
No, I see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay.
where so I'll put it back to you then. If you were to bottom line that, what is the work that we're here to do in this conversation tonight?
Hmm. I think so. The work that we're here to do is to be able to recognize when that energy is not present, and then be able to shift into that, bringing that energy out. I think that's the, yeah.
Okay. The one piece that I would speak to in that is that, and check me if I'm wrong in this, but do you feel like you are already like recognizing when you're not in that space, or do
Yes.
you feel like you're off the
Yeah,
mark
yeah.
there?
No. So I'm able to figure, like, I'm able to, like, if I pause and reflect, I'm able to see where the energy is not present.
Hmm.
So the question is like, okay, what can I do to bring that energy forth? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
clear. What can I do to bring that energy out?
Yes.
As you kind of had mentioned, in all areas of life.
Yes. So the other kind of analogy that's coming to my mind is like, it's that muscle is present, but it's not been exercised enough where it's strong enough. Is what I'm like. That's the picture that's coming to my mind. That it's not something that's foreign to me, because it does
Hmm.
show up once in a while. And I guess what is foreign is the practice of doing it consistently, so that it's present in, more and more in life.
Yeah. So, if I was to reflect that back to you, like you were noticing that from time to time, this energy is very present. This
Mhm.
ability to, you know, m- if we were to look at it from a place of enrollment, the, in one setting, like you get excited, you go make this thing happen, and all of a sudden, you're over enrolled, you've got too many people
Yeah.
showing up. And
Yes.
what you just spoke to there is that, is there a way that I can do this more consistently?
Yes.
And just so I'm clear, it sounded like you said, and maybe I'm putting this in, but almost like, um yeah, I'll say it. It sounded like, that's that's the practice that you're looking to create, is like almost like a check-in, or some way that you can actually create that awareness.
Yes. Yeah. I think yes. Actually, the other thought I just had was that it's so the thought that I just had was that actually, if I reflect on the last couple of conversations that we had around play and rest, that this energy starts to show up more, even like when that play and rest is there. Like, so to give you an example, like, even the enrollments for the program that I'm doing starting tomorrow,
Hmm.
after we had those conversations, and this week I've had so many conversations about this program, this that's starting tomorrow, and they've all been very positive, and people are very receptive. And and most of the people have told me like, okay, this weekend is, we can't make it, but tell us when the next one is, and we'll come to the next one, right? So okay, the missing piece that I see is that on like in terms of taking the action and doing the conversations, that piece is clear to me, that when I'm more playful, when I've rested, then the quality of those conversations is very different and it's more positive. The missing piece is around what we just spoke earlier, which is about, oh, I'm going to make this happen no matter what.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So, if we look at this way of being, of bringing this energy everywhere, it sounds like the gap is that place of I'm going to make this happen no matter what.
Yes.
It's funny, I feel very jumbled today. I'm like, oh, I can't speak very well, but I'll keep working with it apparently. So yeah, let me just reset here and take a breath before I get too wrapped up in my own head. And I'm gonna, can you speak to what you just said there?
So what I said was that when I'm rested and I have that element of play in life, then the actions that are needed, like the conversations that I have with people, are
Mm-hmm.
lively, and like I'm not thinking about, oh, I need to enroll this person right now. It's more in service, it's more joyous, it's more about, forward motion. And so the the other side of it, like, oh, I'm going to make this happen, like whatever the target of the enrollment is, no matter what, that energy is somehow not present. I don't know if what's like, yeah, that's like, even I'm a little like disconnected there in terms of, okay, I'm going to make this happen no matter what, in my mind, is easy if it's, or easy meaning at least it's more clear if what I'm doing, like for example, okay, you take a random example, okay, I will get my taxes done by this weekend, okay, it's all on me, I can make it happen. If I need to stay up late in the night, it's fine, I can, that is clear, okay, I can bring that energy there. But when it's dependent on other people, when it's something like enrollments, then how do you bring that energy into that piece?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, I can make it happen in the sense that, okay, I can set dates from my side. I can talk to whatever a bazillion people, whoever are in my this thing, whoever is in my a list of people to contact or whatever. But then making the enrollment happen, that is where the disconnect is for me, I think,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the enrollments are concerned.
Yeah. So, and thanks for bringing it back into the conversation. Like what I'm hearing out of this is that enrollment can be a lot easier when it's on me. I set a target that solely involves my work, my ethic. Like I can be reliable to go do that thing, but it shifts when it comes to others. When
Yes.
others are involved in this, it becomes, sort of dependent on others, and you may or may not hit that target as a result.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So when you think about that aspect of enrollment, because you're in a service-based business, and you set that target, and then all of a sudden now you're reliable on others to help you meet that target, like, how does that feel?
So I think I want to, like, in my mind, it's again connected to the piece of rest and play. That when that rest and play is present, then it's easy for me to just, if somebody says, "Oh, I can't make it this time," or "I'm not interested," whatever, it doesn't feel like rejection. It doesn't feel like, it's like, okay, let's keep moving, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like um, this thing. And then if that element is not present, then it feels more disempowering, because it feels like, oh, it feels like either rejection, or it feels like, oh, I want to push them to sign up or whatever. Like, I mean, that energy is very unsavory. Uh, so that is one aspect of it.
Mhm.
And the second aspect, like, so uh, the 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 yeah, I lose that side that, oh, actually it's more, it's a longer term game. It's not about, this person right now. It's the longer, like, with each person, it's about being in service to them, and when they're ready they will come, kind of that kind
Mhm.
of energy.
Mm. Okay,
But
so
but
yeah,
at
go
the
ahead.
same time, I think that piece is still disconnected of, okay, I'm going to make it happen, right? So that piece is still unclear to me right now.
Yeah. So, and if you were to paint a picture of, from what you've shared, how ultimately you would want this to look in the enrollment of others, in this energy that you want to bring to life, like, what would the ideal look like for you?
I think the ideal would look like, um, the ideal would look like that there is a there's a target that I set, is which is which I know is in the realm of possibility. Like that, okay, it's a little more than what I know I can comfortably do. And once the target is set, I have the pieces in place that I know will get me at least close to where I need to be. And then a portion of it will always be, whatever, like, at least some portion of the outcome is ascribed to, time and whatnot. That's
Mhm.
that piece will remain. That's fine. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, so what I hear in that is that, um, some of the key factors is, like, yeah, this is a little edgy. It's pushing me outside of my comfort zone in terms of the
Mhm.
targets that I set. And it sounds like there's a desire to actually feel like there's progress being made.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so how, from all of what you shared in terms of I'm not going to throw it into the conversation, but just like, from what you're seeing, what do we need to move forward tonight for you?
Mm. I was going to say maybe like what I need is just a system in place that keeps track of, like, for me personally, it keeps track of where I'm at with whatever I'm doing. Mm, But I don't know if that's the answer. Like, that was the first thought that came to me, but I don't know if there's anything beyond that, or if that is it.
Okay. So are you tracking how this process is going now?
Not really. It's more ad hoc.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Yeah, right.
So yeah.
Right now the process, like if we specifically talk about enrollments, right now the process is okay. Uh, who else can I talk to, and that's it. Like
Mm,
like even in the last 2 or 3 days, all the conversations that I've had of people who have said, okay, not this time, but tell us about next time. It's still like it's not listed anywhere. I don't have a, like, okay, who do I need to tell for the next time? It's all like it just happened in the moment, and it's either in my head or stored somewhere in the head, but it's not there in front of me. It's not present. Uh, yeah.
what do you think is the impact of that in terms of this abundance of energy that you bring to enrollment by not having a system? How does that
It's
contribute?
so what happens is so I just had exactly this conversation earlier today with somebody about when, like, how often do we want to do these programs, and I was saying, like, you'd want them not, like, I mean, like between the last time I had it and this time, so much time elapsed that it was almost like I have to start over again.
Mm,
Right? And when you start over again, you invariably miss people that, you know, that you could have m- moved them forward. Um, yeah.
okay.
So the practical impact is that the number of conversations that I am having are less than what I could be having, because I've
Mm,
had conversations in the past and they got dropped for some reason or the other. Yeah.
okay. And I mean, we can definitely dive more into, the impacts and, you know, all of that stuff. But really, it sounds like you see something for yourself here, um, to implement.
Yes. Um, I think, yeah, at least as far as enrollments are concerned, what I need to do is just like track all the conversations that, okay, who did I talk to? Does that stand right now? What's the next step for that person? Um, I mean, it doesn't have to be too detailed, but at least like some sort of, cliff notes or whatever, like some one liner. Uh,
Okay. How will you do that? How will you track those conversations?
I'll start a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And yeah, and I'll do that this weekend. So I know half the time is going to go in the teaching of the program, but I'll find time to do it. Uh,
Okay, cool. Do you want to put a by
yeah,
when it'll be completed? Would that be
yeah,
supportive for you?
yeah. So I want to do it before the weekend, like before Monday. So
Okay.
by Sunday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get this tracking sheet in place. Is, are all your problems, with enrollment solved, or is there more for us to dive into?
Mm. Okay, I'm not sure about like so. So right now, the sense I have is that okay, I think this is something that will move me forward, and it's in the right direction. And what I'm not sure about is there something else? Like right now, it doesn't feel like there's anything else, but I don't know. It's so the part that is still sort of missing is what we started out with, is bringing that energy of I'm going to make this happen. And what seems a little um, like that still seems a little like unaddressed somehow. um, like this whole thing about tracking and enrollments and all that is like, okay, that's a good, like it's a piece of the puzzle, and on in this topic it'll help, but it doesn't address the energy part of it, like of, oh, I'm going to make it happen kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, thanks for speaking to it. Thanks for being willing to just sit with like, oh, is there anything left remaining in this for
Mm,
me? So you shared examples of where this this energy in enrollment shows up very naturally for you, and in other places it's a bit more effort. It
mm.
requires more of you. um what do you think, if this could be as simple as just you choosing to embody this way of being, this way that you bring
Mm.
play and light to this, what do you notice?
So what I notice is that actually uh, this so what I notice is that this contrast between I'm going to make it happen seems very heavy and like um, yeah. And at the same time, okay, so I think I get a mental picture of it now. S- What, like the analogy that comes to my mind is that of a river. Like, oh, I'm going to make this happen needs to be the banks of the river which are directing the flow, but the flow can still be light and easy and playful and all of that. I think that's that has been the missing piece, I think, so far for me. Because in my mind, like, okay, I'm actually like, you know, somebody who's very light and easygoing and happy and all of those things. But this energy of I'm going to make it happen, just like that phrase has been very heavy for me, and that has been a conflict so far. Like I would like some of the elements that I'm going to make it happen brings, but that's not me, because that's not my nature of like it feels very heavy. But this analogy of like, oh, that's the banks of the river that is directing the flow, but the flow itself is easy and light, and that's uh, yeah. I just had that picture come to me when I was reflecting on it. That's very powerful. I think that's the yeah. I think that's where the balance is. It's like, yeah, yes. Okay, now I think I have it. So
Mhm.
yes.
Well, if you picture, enrollments for your program, well, actually, let me put it to you. Let's. I kind of put that one out there, but like, if you were to pick an area of life where you feel like that enrollment requires more work, more effort, if you brought that, is there an area that you see, an area in your life right now that is like that?
Yeah. So I mean, like you said, enrollments, right? So that's there, right? That's what we've been. I mean, we've
Hmm.
been using that as an example for most of our conversation, so we can stay there with it. Um, and okay, so now I see how this connected with what we talked about before. Because so this thing about tracking enrollment conversations, for example, like if you stick with this example of enrollments, I have not done this before, right? And this is already more work, at least like to in my mind, like what has happened in the past is like I'll see a person or I'll think of somebody or I'll run into them and then the conversation would follow from it, right? But by putting in the structure of having a spreadsheet and tracking it and being consistent with that is the extra sort of effort that will move this forward. Okay, now I think the picture is getting complete there. Yeah.
Well, it ultimately comes down to what you want
Yes.
and how these things serve you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't serve you, you can throw it out.
Hmm.
um but also notice, in one moment where you see the benefit of that structure, and now you're seeing, potentially the negatives of it.
No, no. So what actually no, I'm not seeing the negative of it. I'm seeing how it actually benefits. Like it bridges the gap between what I've done in the past of and the like it resolves that conflict of I'm going to make it happen versus the the light and easy way of being that I've been. So that I think that's where where these two meet. Uh, see if I can say this a little more clearly.
No, I understand. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like what you shared is that there can be room for both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I mean, yeah, this is exactly that's what I'm trying to communicate is that in the past, for me, these were either or. Like
Hmm.
either it is like, oh, I'm going to make it happen, and it comes with that, that kind of energy, or like, but that's not me because I'm like, light and easygoing and flowing with things, right? I mean, I like flowing with life. But the resolution that we came to in this conversation is that the two can coexist. Like the I'm going to make it happen can be the banks of the river through which this light and easy energy flows. And I think
Hmm.
that's the aha that I had this conversation so far. Yeah.
Hmm. And what kind of life would that be, where the make it happen, that energy of I'm going after this thing, was a light and easy experience for you?
Yes. So it's like what's coming to me is like it's circling back to where we started this journey of having a life that's intentional. Right? So
Mm.
going to make it happen is the aspect of being intentional about what I'm trying to do or what I want to do. and then the process of making it happen. You okay?
We'll see how that goes. I might have
What
to just
happened?
take a minute here. Just
That's okay.
give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I think I'm good. We'll see.
Okay. Okay.
Never know what happens in these moments, but
Yes.
yeah, feel free to keep sharing. You're mentioning about like the intentionality aspect of it.
Yes. So what I was saying is like I'm going to make it happen is in the intention part of it, like the intentionality of life. Like, okay, this is what I want to create in life. And then the process itself is the light and ease that we talked about that also in one of our in more than one of our conversations about ease and joy and comfort, not comfort, but ease and joy. And that's the execution is ease and joy, and the intentionality and I'm going to make it happen is giving the direction for that ease and joy to flow into. I think that's where they come together.
And if we look at the enrollments in your workshops from this place, like
Yes.
how would this go differently?
How would this go differently is that like I still have a goal that okay, this is what I want to make happen, and I'm not going to stop having conversations until that goal is achieved. A- And it, and the quality of those conversations with each person is not going to get affected by how many enrollments I already have or how far away am I from the target that I set for myself. I think that's where these two go together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that in the conversation, there is no pressure of like I'm not putting pressure on myself that oh I need this enrollment kind of thing. That I'm here only to share what is like share the conversation, gently guide it in the direction where I can be of more service to the person that I'm speaking with. And then once that conversation is over, no matter what the outcome is, I bring the same intensity, the same lightness to the next conversation. And yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's a great place to come from.
Yeah.
That, no matter what is happening outside of you, that you're still bringing that same energy, that same level of service and connection, regardless of the circumstances.
Yes.
So we've got about 16 minutes, and I want to check in with you here at this point in terms of where we started. Like, how are we doing in this conversation?
So I think I'm in a much better place in terms of reconciling these things that were conflicting in my head before, right? So that's number one. And then I have yeah, that's the biggest piece actually. That's the biggest piece. And I see like how the two can go together, how I can bring that to like what we were saying in different aspects of my life. So I see that. I think that's great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that's missing for you? Anything that's unclear at this point?
Um, So what is, it's not unclear, but it's or maybe it's unclear. I don't know yet. Uh, is that how do I translate this realization and this clarity into action and stay with it? Like how do I make sure I don't revert back to the previous way of thinking, or or if I do, then to recognize that and then and correct course. I think yeah.
It's a great awareness, because inevitably something might come up that knocks
Yes.
you off course, or you even spoke to that, like, there are times when you feel rejection.
Mhm.
So it's a very, I would say, natural place to be curious about.
Yeah.
And what do you see for yourself?
I I had like right after you said that, the other thought came, which is like, oh, we talked about it in the past. Like, oh, if the rest and play are there, then it's easier to move on and not be in the space of, you know, feeling like, oh, it was a rejection, or feeling like, oh, it was stuck, or whatever, like on whatever, like the limited sort of mindset around those conversations. Yeah.
So again, as you've mentioned, rest and play are a big part of um, supporting your greatest, you know, your greatest level of calling, or your
Yes.
greatest level of being, really.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
So there might not be anything there, but it's worth just checking with yourself, like, if rest and play are sort of these gateways for you, um, is there anything for you to practice, to implement in service of this?
Uh, No, I think so like when we talked about rest and play in our previous conversations, we did touch upon some practices that I can keep, and that I've been doing, and so it's been like the last week has been great in that sense. Uh, is there anything else that I need there? Maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, and you already mentioned on the call about the next step in creating that spreadsheet for yourself.
Yes. Correct.
um, yeah, okay. I'll put it in just because it was present in the conversation. Is there anything that you want to share or need around the feeling of rejection? I have a sneaking suspicion that somehow might have a little bit of a hold on how this goes, and it might not, but I figured I'd check in with you.
So like I think what I'm somehow it keeps coming back to the same thing about rest and play, is that when I'm rested, then it's easy for me to say that, oh, it's easy for me to take on this perspective that, okay, it's not a rejection of me, it's where they're at, it's whatever is best for them, whatever they choose at this moment is fine. And when I'm not, that's where all of these things about, oh, oh, it's like, oh, I'm not good enough, or they don't value what I have to offer, or maybe I didn't communicate it the way it should be communicated. Like all those doubts start to come up.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. like judgments start to form much more easy about myself and about others when that when I'm not like fully myself. I think that's
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you've got a pretty good awareness of how that dynamic can both show up very strongly and when again when you're rested and you're in this playful place that it's not as present.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the other place to potentially look at is, being that we're in this new conversation about enrollment and a new way of looking at and being, all in and making it happen no matter what, but coming from a place of lightness. Um, what are you committed to in terms of the enrollment going forward? It could be the same that you committed to last week, but I wanted to check in with you there.
Hmm. So I shared with you, right, that I uh, so like this last couple of days, I set in motion a couple of other programs that I'm planning to do, like a shorter workshop, which is for parents. So I'm going to set like enrollment targets for them. Like for the parents workshop, I'm going to have at least 10 people in the workshop. Then for the kids workshop, again 10 for the kids, 10 for the teens. I think so, something like that. I want to look at. Yeah, I think those are good targets to start with.
Okay. Are you clear on the targets?
Yes, I'm clear on the targets. Yes,
Okay. Can
yes.
can you bottom line
So
them? Like what exactly are they?
yeah, so the parents workshop, I will have it in the month of February with 10 people attending,
Mhm.
10 plus. The refresher program that again, I have a date for it, date and time and place is set for it. I'm going to have 5 people attend, 5 or more. Um, and then in March, I'm setting up a workshop for kids and a workshop for teens, and I'll have 10 in each. So that's those are the goals
Okay.
for them. Yeah.
And if we look at, these new targets, this new way, this new energy that you want to bring to enrollment, like
Yes.
how will this go differently than how it's gone in the past for you?
So what will go differently is like, for example, if I'm saying that let's take the parents workshop, right? So I want to have 10 people attend, and which means that, let's say, out of 5 people I talk to, one will sign up. So that means I need to have conversations with 50 people. So that'll be my focus, that can I get a list of, or can I find 50 people that I will have conversations about for this workshop, and then bring them to that workshop. So that's how it will go. So that's where the um, like the confluence of, I'm going to make it happen, plus it's light and like in the conversation itself is there. Uh, yeah, and so there's a structure to it, and at the same time it's open at the same time. So both are present.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything, as we start to wind down here, is there any other, questions that you have or curiosities that are coming up for you around what we've talked about today?
Um, No, I think so. The only thing that's coming up for me right now is that, okay, I have all these ideas in my head right now. What I need to do is just sit down and put them in a document where I know what the steps are, and I can track myself and hold myself accountable for, okay, what will I do? I mean, in the game plan that I have in my head, putting that in on paper or whatever, like in a document, and setting times and dates for each one of them. Okay, by when will I have this done, and so on and so forth. So
Okay,
that's the next step, I think. Yeah.
great. And when will you have that in place by?
I knew they were going to answer. Like, that was a question in my head also, and I was thinking I'll find time to do it tomorrow. But then the thought right after that was that, oh, I'm teaching tomorrow evening, so I want to give myself a little more time. So I think I will finish it by Monday night.
Okay,
So yeah.
great. Okay.
Actually, a part of me wants to do it like tomorrow morning. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, I'll miss something. So, but yes, Monday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this feel like a good place for us to stop,
Yeah, I think
to
so.
complete for today?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you taking away from our conversation?
So what I'm taking away is like that actually, this thinking I had before about, it's one or the other, was flawed, and actually life is a dance between the two. Is that Yeah, actually dance is a good analogy, because there are certain steps there's certain structure, and then there's certain sort of ease to it at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful awareness. Anything missing, disempowering, or incomplete?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Acknowledgement. Who would you acknowledge yourself for in our conversation today?
Uh, I think in general, like for awareness, and then also being able to connect these dots, which before didn't seem like they could be connected. So,
Anything else you want to
at
share?
least, in my head. uh, Anything else I want to share? Doesn't come. Don't know.
Yeah, I really, I as well want to acknowledge you for the awareness, just the ability to allow this desire to be all in, to be able to make things happen no matter what in any place of your life that you pursue, and that realization that left unchecked, there's heaviness there. There's
Mm.
that energy there. And so seeing that, like, what you need is lightness, you need ease in this process, and really that there can be a merger of both sides. As you said, it doesn't have to be one way or another way. It can come together, and really allowing more of that, into your life, where you don't have to choose between the black and white, but like you get to play, you get to be with these concepts, these things in your life, and allow that merger to occur. It's beautiful to see that. And I really want to acknowledge you for, one, the service that you do bring to the world, just the realization that when I feel rested, when I feel, at play, that I can be of service to others. Um and no matter where they're at, that that's perfectly okay. Like that's really what a both a beautiful and a powerful stand that you're creating for the people in your world. that they can just show up as who they are, and no matter the decisions that they make, that you just get to hold that space for them. And yeah, really do want to acknowledge you for the rest and the play that you're bringing for yourself. That this is not a one-time conversation, that it's truly, you know, an embodiment of who you are, and really owning that, like owning that when I am rested and when I'm in this playful place, that like there's so much possibility that can be created from there. So thanks for choosing into that and allowing that to be.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.